Okay, so we're back with another VOD review. Unfortunately, my camera is not working, so sorry about that. But this is a low diamond lobby. Although the person we're spectating is Diamond 2. And that would be True Nikki's, who is playing Anna for the whole game. And I will point out, because I did just do a VOD review for your girlfriend, and she is still with us. So we've already got a lot of great utility here with an Anna. That's just like guaranteed excellent utility. There's never gonna be like a world where an Anna isn't like great. And then on top of that we have an Ashe, which is really good. They don't have any cleanse right now, so you're gonna do great in the beginning at least. We will have to watch out for the Tracer harassing you a lot. The biggest issue for your team is gonna be Maga Burn plus Anna Nade. But you do have a Kirika, which will make things easier, plus you already have a Zarya, so hopefully this should be just like this looks like a really fast game. I like from the beginning it basically just looks like you have double cleanse, and so you're just gonna auto win this basically. Maga is really frustrating, so I wouldn't be surprised. Like, what this will come down to is your ability to stay alive while getting harassed by a Tracer, and then Maga just having the most annoying, frustrating, awful kit in the game. Okay, I don't know why we're doing that. Okay. First of all, holy shit, turn down your sensitivity. Oh my... Turn it down. And first of all, I don't know why we didn't try to shoot the soldier. This is... You're like all over the place. And I don't know if this is on console. I'm trying to think. Felixius. I don't believe either of you are on console. That is just so... That is far too high. And especially, I know that a lot of times console players, when they make the transition to PC, they put their sensitivity too high, or you might be used to a fast sensitivity. You need to relearn a new sense. Sensitivity isn't usually like a huge deal, but there is such a thing as both a too slow and too fast of a sensitivity. Ana is a character that already doesn't require a lot of precision when it comes to aiming. Like her hitbox for teammates is already incredibly forgiving, and I mean she's just really easy to aim on. Like, I know a lot of people talk about like you should still be hitting your shots, but you shouldn't need insanely high sensitivity to do so. You were so jittery and you were overcorrecting so much. I just don't see a point in having your sensitivity be that high. You also don't even make attempts to shoot. Try and deal damage. This is awful. This is awful to watch. I almost want to like slow it down or something. And everyone misses shots. It's not like a huge deal to miss shots. I just think that having such a high sensitivity is likely affecting this because it causes you to overcorrect so much. Also, you're not adding much to this fight at all. You're just not adding much in general. Like, since in the whole time you've been here, all you've done is like shot a couple of healing abilities. I think you've maybe DPS like one singular bullet. You're just not adding anything right now. Your girlfriend's doing most of the healing because she's been with the Zarya the whole time, which is fine, you know. When you've got two main supports, when you've got two main healers who do a lot of healing, it's okay if you take a more DPS stance. So you should be DPSing more. If it seems clear like Seth's gonna focus more on like healing the tank and stuff, great. That means you can throw your nades offensively, things like that. Okay, so far we've got one defensive nade, and that's the only nade that you have thrown. Nice sleep. That is a good sleep, and that would have been a good offensive nade. Oh. And once again, I feel like just like your sensitivity is affecting your aim again. There's just no reason to be like this jerky. Your movement should be smoother. Not your movement, your crosshair. you also overshoot, like every single time you go to aim at someone, you go past them every time. Also, this isn't a good place to be standing, really. I get you want to push up, but this is not how you do it. First of all, you're just not getting any value standing here because you can only really see your team. And what happens when the enemy team pushes out, you're stuck low ground. You're going to have to walk all the way around. If I were to recommend anything, I'd say maybe going over here. Getting an offensive angle here could be good, and you can back up a lot easier while staying on high ground. Of course, if multiple people go that way, that's an issue. Even going and standing over here could possibly provide more, especially because your team is likely going to back down these stairs, and you can be there to support them. Just standing in the middle of point isn't a great place to be standing, especially because you're actually a lot easier to shoot at here. Like, you've got such a small area that you can see, and when the team actually ends up pushing up, you're fucked. So it's not a great place in the long run. Okay, that's a great nade. I don't really see the point of sleeping that. You kind of just threw out a cooldown to throw out a cooldown. He was trapped in Zarya. He's trapped in Grav. There's no point in sleeping that because he was immediately woken up from Zarya Grav. He was still CC'd. There's no point in sleeping that. You've just got, like, now you've got 12 seconds on your ability for no reason. Okay. I mean, great job playing Ring Around the Rosie. If only you had either of your abilities still. Good job killing him. But as you can see, you're kind of fucked if someone walks up on you. Alright, and you have nade. Nice job nading that. Or nading, ulting that. It's good that you know to do that. And this would... yeah. And once again, we're kind of seeing, like, once they get on point, you're not safe anymore. Which is why you shouldn't be standing on point. Okay, so they're not going to change anything up. It looks like the only change has been Winston. Lord knows why. I don't know. Like, a large part of this is coming down to, like, team comp diff. They do have a Kiriko now, but you still have infinitely more utility from them because they have one of the worst things you can have in a game. A Moira player. And I'm going to say this with so much malice and hatefulness and cruelty in my heart. I hate Moira players. I hate Moira players. They are genuinely so unhelpful. This Moira right now is adding nothing to this game. I'd be pissed if I was on the enemy team. I'd be so pissed. Because right now you have anti, you have sleep, you have cleanse. Actually, you have double cleanse. You have a burn function. What does she have? Healing and damage. Soldier has that too. Like, oh. I can't stand Moira. Okay. You gotta slow your sense down. It's actually, like, it's genuinely a detriment to your aiming. And it's not, like, a huge change. It's just, it's gotta go down a little, at least, like, a little bit, because it is really affecting your ability to aim. You are overestimating every shot, over-aiming every shot. Nice. Good sleep. Easy kill. Nice job. Here, I'll put this down. We gotta probably be ready to fall back. No, he shouldn't have dropped there. Lixie dying here was completely her fault. Let her die. Because now it's gonna be harder for you to get out of here. You're outnumbered. And you have to go up these stairs now. Before, when you were here, it was going to be a lot faster to get out, but because you dropped, you're a little bit more likely to die. It was not worth it. It was her fault. It is not your job to save everyone who fucks themselves over. And that goes for every support against every one of their teammates. Nice, that's a good nade. Once again, we're having a lot of issues with just, like, hitting really close range shots because, in part, to your sensitivity. Okay, she's full health. I think you're panicking a little, maybe? Our accuracy just went down a lot. Okay. wasn't a huge nano. You got literally one limb off of that. I feel like you just panicked, like mass panic was going on. You were just desperate to keep this Arya up, and you were whipping along, and you just went for the nano. And she was fine. She didn't really need the nano. The only person there to kill was Kiriko, basically. Once again, we just witnessed a Moira player being shit at the game, something most of them are very good at. Fuck Moira players. Why the hell was she going in then? Who the hell knows? Chai baby, let's get some game awareness. You can definitely... he'll get woken, so there's no point in sleeping. Okay, well... there was a Bob, so there's no point in sleeping him. What? I don't know why we're running out of Tracer. Okay, well... we got the sleep. Good job. Wow. Moira player talent. Okay. Well, you won that in the end. So I'll be honest here, this game is just not a good assessment of your skill base because I'll just be frank, you did nothing this whole game, basically. Nothing. There was very little value from your abilities, and from what I can tell, it didn't really look like you were thinking strategically about your abilities, like, at all. It really felt like you were just throwing out cooldowns pretty much every time you slept. It was just like, oh, I could sleep them here. And now, it's not the worst thing in the world to just throw out a sleep, but especially when it would be like you would throw out a sleep and then very shortly after, like, an ult would happen. It was like, damn, I wish I had sleep for that. Like, it was clear that there was not as much strategic thinking going in. And of course, especially in early game, I'll throw out sleeps a lot more in the hopes to get, like, easier limbs, things like that. But when ults start happening, you gotta start thinking about, like, damn, I want to have this ability with a long cooldown up for this ultimate. And especially in that first half, like the part beforehand, we were just not doing anything. Nothing was going on for this entire section because of where you're positioned. You couldn't see much of the team. You didn't make an effort to try and DPS at all. I really would be curious to see stats. Like, part of it is, like, this game was just really short. It was a hard roll. Like, you had a better team comp, a better team in general. You didn't have that nasty, disgusting, awful Moira player. I've said this a few times about, like, games like this. When it's a hard roll like this, there's just no point to, you know, there's no point to making a hard roll be the game that you have someone watch. Whether it be a hard roll that you won or lost, there's no point to it, because it either means that that there was, like, someone that was just egregiously better on, like, one team or the other. Like, there was either, like, it was a terrible matchup. And this is an issue with Overwatch 2, is there's a lot more hard rolls. Like, this is not a normal game. This is a hard roll. Like, they didn't even capture point once. At the end of the day, the big things I'm noticing, just, like, from what I saw, is your sensitivity is too high. It's too high. And sensitivity is, for the most part, subjective, but there comes a point where if you're over-aiming for every shot you make, if you're, you know, moving, if you're like, ah, shit, I'm focused on the Kiriko right now, but I want to hit the Maga over there, and you go all the way past the Maga and then have to come back, like, that's an issue. And it just creates a lot of problems. Ana is one of the characters, like, obviously with scope, you want to have a little bit higher of a sensitivity, but your unscope should be lower, your scope should be lower, you're over aiming too much. The other big thing is where you were positioned. It wasn't too bad in the second half where you're standing, for the most part, was pretty good. Here's just not a good place to be standing, and I know this is something that might seem not great, but you're just not standing in a good location. The number one plays I would recommend would be, like, here would be good, especially if your team were to fall back. Here would be good. Even But even standing over here, like the difference between standing here, like here, and standing there is like nothing, because there's still going to be this giant thing blocking the middle of your viewpoint. Just stand to the side here or stand to the side here. It's the same fucking shit as standing here or here. But you're much safer, because every single time you were getting walked up on point, and it's just not smart to be standing there. In general, a lot of it had to do with just you just weren't in the fight really at all. And I think like a good way to look at this is the difference in ult. Like, look at Lixia just got ult. You are 76% of the way to ult. Granted, your Ashe is also doing nothing, but she's also standing in the same location as you. And that's a big difference, especially comparing you to the enemy Ana. Like, you're just not doing anything, basically. And I understand that you've got two main healers, you got two people pumping out a lot of heals. You should go DPS. I mean, for the most part, when it comes down to, oh, if there's an Ana in a Kiriko, the Kiriko goes DPS, and usually she sticks with the Ana to defend the Ana, while the Ana focuses more on healing. But, you know, Lixia clearly was focusing more on healing. Start DPSing more, start looking to throw out your nade more, to deal more damage. You basically didn't really shoot anything. You got a couple decent limbs, but you really provided very little damage, you provided very little healing. I feel like if I were to maybe guess stats, I couldn't see you having passed like 3k healing. I just don't even think that would be possible. I couldn't see you going past 1k in terms of damage. And obviously this is a really fast game, but I mean, you can get like a decent amount done in this amount of time, and you just kind of did nothing this whole time. In the end, I don't see this as much of a, I don't see this VOD as having much value to you, because it's so short, it was a hard roll, and you didn't really do anything. So to take a good critique of you, there's not much, you know? There's not much here for me to go off of. At the end, I will say, both you and Lixia are really sweet. Obviously, Lixia is the lower ranked of the two of you, but of course, Lixia does need to improve, and so do you. I think that you guys are kind of like where you should be right now, based off like the decision making, aim, just how you guys play. Like, I feel like where you guys are right now is where you belong. Not to say like that can't change, it's just it looks like some improvement needs to happen. For you, you're already like close to being masters. It really comes down to having better decision making, really working on improving your aim, and just like having more impact on games. Because Ana is a character that really can turn the tides of the game, and right now you're very passive, you're not doing anything, you're not impacting anything. If we were to like swap you out with like a bot, not to be mean, I just mean in terms of impact, not in terms of like skill or anything, but like it wouldn't really make much of a difference. You had some decent plays, but like there was really just nothing going on.